You have to deal in mining, which is very important in our economy. At this stage, we're in a mining boom, and 60% of the revenue is derived from the mining sector. You still have to deal with the landowners who own 97% of the land, of which agriculture is their main activity. And that is the focus for the country for the next 10, 15 years. That unless we develop the agricultural resources and improve the export potential and capacity in agriculture, fisheries, and other forestry resources, we cannot pay for the next stage of development, and that is processing and manufacturing and building our broad base all sector development to help the economy of the country and providing employment opportunity for our growing population. So when you see the agricultural practice, traditional agricultural practice in Papua New Guinea, it is part of the ecosystem, right? Meaning that people not just cultivate land, but they also look after their forest, they look after their fish, they look after their birds, they look after their all resources within the environment that meets both their food needs, daily food needs, as well as their cultural activities. It's very important when you look at the ethnic groupings of Papua New Guinea. Their social identity, their cultural identity is derived from not only the social units, but how they work together and interact together with their environment. And if you take that to the next stage of commercial agriculture, you can't totally isolate the social aspects of development. You have to build from what you have, and that's very significant. We import so many tons of rice into Papua New Guinea, and we spend about 170 million kina every year purchasing rice. So there is a political concern that we must, if we are consuming, say, on a per head of population consumption, or an average of 40 kg or 40 kilogram of rice per head of population consumption, which is very high, very, very high. So there is a political concern that we must have some focus on rice production. And so the government has a program on rice production. But when it comes to commercial rice production, that's a different matter. Because commercially it is not viable for any farmer to sustain rice production on an economic basis. When you compare to coffee and cocoa and other crops where it is much more advantageous to the farmers in terms of income. So we have to subsidize to a degree the rice program in the country, in the sense that when you look at the world trend, we see that the world population is going to increase, and the consumption of rice is going to increase, but the production is going to decrease, because when you see China, as China, the mainland China, industrializes, the farmland is converted into industrial land. And so it will affect the production. And that's what's happening in most Asian nations and countries. At the same time, rice consumption is still going to be increasing throughout the world. So there is a need for food security, the need for supply of food, and not only supply and growing and supplying, but the common people having access to food. So in that sense, in the context of world food security, and when it comes to Papua New Guinea, food security for Papua New Guinea, we must also teach our people, if they're eating a lot of rice, at least they must know how to grow rice. So Papua New Guinea is a member of the South Pacific region that has a multilateral agreement whereby which affects the exploitation of, say, tuna resources, for example, within the 200 economic zone. So what's happening is that we deal with the foreign fishing nations. These are the big guys that come in with pesenas and huge nets and whatnot to come and fish in our waters. That the smaller Pacific island countries, we are vulnerable to the big power nations that are coming in a huge way to exploit our resources. So to be able to handle the big fishing nations, we have to come together as a region to negotiate with the foreign fishing countries. Now, in that sense, we are able to bring and pull together our technical people and the ability to have some capacity to have a surveillance capacity in the region, and also keep stock of who's fishing where and how much they're catching, so that we get the best return of what is being exploited out from our seas and waters. In that sense, Papua New Guinea is a big country. We lose in a way when we look at it from Papua New Guinea perspective, because we can go and make deals with other nations and benefit more. But in the regional context, we have to help each other within the regional context. So that's talking about the sea resources. Mm-hmm. But there is potential in aquaculture, which I don't think we have fully exploited. And I see that with your American technology, and I know you have very good aquaculture technology. I have studied the aquaculture technology in Taiwan and in most Southeast Asian countries and in China, but I believe that the United States has the fully integrated aquaculture technology system, where you have what they call vertical integration of an aquaculture industry feeding in or supporting, say, hydroponics, and the waste is then being utilized to grow your vegetables. So you have an integrated, or what you call vertical integration of the industry, which is same with your poultry industry, which we have copied in Papua New Guinea. We have copied exactly the same integration of industry insofar as poultry is concerned in Papua New Guinea. And Papua New Guinea is 100% self-sufficient in its own local poultry industry and pork industry. We are 100% self-sufficient. But aquaculture is not developed. It's still new. And I think there's an opportunity for United States and Papua New Guinea to explore the possibility of developing that potential. Because currently we are depending on the natural environment, the natural seas and waters to catch the fish and sell to the international market. But what if those resources run out? And I think the future is aquaculture. Chicken production in this country is very much monopolized by 2 or 3 major companies. So you need diversification of protein base, so that at least people have a choice between fish, chicken, pork, and beef. Beef industry is not fully developed in this country, and we are importing a lot. But we also have a potential to increase beef production, which also leads on to the production of sheep. We import a lot of lamb flaps from Australia and New Zealand, and there's a lot of concern about the health qualities of those products. So we have a big program on sheep production in the Highlands region, and Highlands region is a very big market for lamb flaps, and we hope that in the next few years we can build that potential, so that the people in the Highlands can be able to have their own processing plant to process lamb flaps for themselves in the Highlands, as well as Papua New Guinea as a whole.
Right. How do you feel about developing a dairy industry in some of our more grassy areas within the Highlands?
I think there's another potential that we have not explored to see whether we can be able to start those kind of projects. And we are open to people who have the expertise, either to help the local industry, or would like to develop a partnership with local companies to develop the dairy industry. And in the downstream processing of agricultural products, that's another big potential where we should be looking at potential investors from outside Papua New Guinea coming in, and we are open to discuss with them if they have ideas to tie them up with our farmers or with our commercial enterprises in the country to look at agricultural industry, the possibilities of investing in agricultural industry.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Utola Samana's vision of the future has already begun in the Eastern Highlands. We travel first to meet a welcome example of outside influence from Hiroshima.